Well, here in South Wales, they've been using targeted facial recognition to catch some of the most serious offenders. And we want to see this technology now used in other parts of the country as well. There need to be proper safeguards in place, and we will do a new legal framework for it. But this is about using technology that can catch criminals who are wanted for the most serious crimes and keep the public safe.
You mentioned the most serious crime there. South Wales Police have also used it to target mobile phone thieves, and there are suggestions to catch ticket touts as well. Are you happy for it to be used for that purpose too?
Well, what South Wales have done is use this in a very targeted way. They've been very public and clear about the cases that they've used it for, including using it to actually target criminal gangs who are operating, and to make sure they can use that to keep the public safe. There do have to be safeguards. We will do a new legal framework as part alongside the rollout of these additional 10 vans to 7 police force areas. But when you see the evidence and the difference that this can make to target the most serious criminals, to make sure that you can keep communities safe, I think this is technology that we do need to make sure is properly used.
So you're happy for it to be used for ticket touts, for example?
No, that's not how they've used it. They've used it for targeting where there's serious and organised crime, where there are criminal gangs. But in every case that they do use it, they need to obviously have safeguards in place, and we need to make sure that we've got a new legal framework for it to be operating under, and also that it can be used to tackle serious crimes and keep communities safe.
Few democracies use this technology. Isn't this an infringement on people's privacy?
Well, the way in which this technology is being used is to identify people who are wanted by the court, who maybe should be returned to prison, or who have failed to appear before the court, or who have breached things like the sexual harm prevention orders. So serious criminals, and I think being able to identify them but also have safeguards to protect the privacy of everyone else is really important. So we're rolling out this in a step-by-step basis alongside having proper legal safeguards and a legal framework in place, because there do have to be safeguards and protections, but we also need to be able to use the technology to catch dangerous criminals and to keep communities safe.
In the 14 times South Wales Police have used facial recognition technology this year, more than 1.6 million faces have been scanned, resulting in 15 arrests. Do you think that's proportionate?
Well, the evidence that South Wales Police have shown me has shown how the overwhelming majority of images are deleted in 0.2 seconds. So those who are not on the wanted list of serious criminals, those images are not held, they are immediately deleted. But what they are able to do is to identify those who are potentially the most wanted criminals, those who should be facing the court. So using that kind of technology in a targeted way with proper safeguards in place is something that we do need to develop. We need the public to have confidence in this, and that's why we're consulting on a new legal framework as well. But it's also, I think, important that everybody knows we've got all this new technology to use it in the most effective, targeted way to keep people safe.
I have some other questions from the pool. On police guidance for the identification of people arrested, Diana Johnson says this morning she wants to see the details released in most cases, but the NPCC guidance is clear, they only expect it in certain cases. Are you pleased with this guidance, or do you want it to go further?
Well, we welcome the guidance because this is a step forward, and we have been clear that we need greater transparency, and that's what the public want to see. But we have also asked the Law Commission particularly to look at what information can be released to make sure that we're not also affecting criminal trials that are underway. That's where a lot of the restrictions and constraints have been. So we've asked the Law Commission to report very quickly this autumn on what more can be done to avoid prejudice in criminal trials.
On channel crossings, both you and the Prime Minister have firmed up on your language around immigration and have continued to push on new measures you're bringing in. But don't yesterday's numbers show it's really an area over which you have very little control? Is the government doing everything possible to stop the boats?
Well, small boat crossings undermine our border security and put lives at risk. We've seen disgraceful scenes of criminal gangs crowding people into these flimsy small boats, making huge profits as they do so. And that's why we're introducing this new pilot returns arrangement with France, so we can start to return people back to where the boats started from, alongside the agreement we've made with France that they will change their rules in order to prevent boats setting off in the first place. It's really important that we do this. More arrests were made yesterday. The first referrals have been made to France to start that returns process because the criminal gangs have been getting away with this for far too long.
Kemi Badenoch suggested this week asylum seekers should be put in Nightingale camps. What's your response to this?
The Tories completely failed on the entire asylum system. They left us with a system that was completely broken and in chaos. That's why now we have a programme this Parliament to end asylum hotels, which we inherited from the Conservatives, and also to get a grip back on the system, to get decisions through. We're going to have to reform the broken appeals system as well. But I think, frankly, nobody is going to take seriously anything the Conservatives said when they so badly failed and left a system so broken and such chaos.
And finally, is shoplifting out of control in Britain? Should law-abiding citizens step in when they see crimes being committed, as some police and crime commissioners have suggested?
Well, town centre crime wasn't taken seriously under the previous government for far too long, and we saw neighbourhood policing decimated across the country. Too often, I think we've seen Conservative elected representatives saying, oh, well, they need the public to take action because they cut neighbourhood policing. We believe the answer is to get neighbourhood policing back on the beat. That's why we're putting 3,000 additional neighbourhood police on the streets this year, and why we've said the top priority needs to be town centre patrols, with new additional patrols this summer in 500 town city centres across the country.
Thank you very much.
Yvette Cooper there speaking a little earlier. Mari, you've been watching all those comments. A wide